Let's bring in Andrij Dobriansky, now Director of Communications and Media for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. Good morning to you. I've been reading a few articles on this meeting and some of the demands that Russia right now is making, Andrij, including saying Ukraine cannot join NATO, cannot be a member, and NATO must disavow the 2008 promise to do so. What do you make of Russia's demands, and are you seeing any progress here?
Well, first and foremost, we know that this is happening outside everything that's been agreed to so far. And I mean literal agreements. The United States and Ukraine have a strategic partnership that they reaffirmed just in 2021. The United States is a party to numerous treaties that have condemned the bodies that moderate those treaties have condemned what's happening in Russia. And so it seems as if the United States is willing to give away its good word with this action today in Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia last summer hosted over 40 countries along with Ukraine for a potential peace summit. Russia was not part of it because nobody really wants to talk to the aggressor. Russia has caused so many international problems. So the question here is, what is the good word of the United States worth when it's disavowing its current agreements and then asking the world to recognize this upcoming agreement? It's similar to what President Trump accomplished when he renegotiated NAFTA, and which became the USMC, the Mexico-Canada agreement, only to start his administration by once again going back on his word and try to impose tariffs. This is a future fundamental question for diplomacy. What is the United States word? Is it what we do in the realm of diplomacy, in the realm of protocol, or is it basically what one person decides America should do? And I don't know if that's what the United States voters voted for.
I want to ask you about this 1990 Declaration of Sovereignty from the Soviet Union at the time. What did Ukraine agree to in that document, Andrij, and what is Russia most afraid of if you were to try to get inside the mind of Vladimir Putin on this?
Well, the end of the Soviet Union were several steps, some of which include declarations of sovereignty, declarations of independence by different countries, first and foremost the Baltic countries. Ukraine did have a referendum where they asked people throughout the country, and some of those referendums actually particularly asked for independence, but for the most part, the entire country was asked whether you're okay with being sovereign on your own apart from the Soviet Union. And then after all, the majority of countries had declared independence, there was a summit where all the leaders of the countries that were within the Soviet Union proper got together and all agreed to dissolve by the Constitution of the Soviet Union. So it was all done, step by step, and there's no going back from that in any way. But in terms of what we're seeing today, I think it's a very interesting diplomatic game. Just yesterday, Ukraine signed an enormous free trade agreement with the United Arab Emirates. As much as Marco Rubio and Lavrov are palling around in Saudi Arabia, it feels like Zelensky is almost circling them with the amount of visits, reaffirming his visit and friendship with Turkey, which has been a staunch supporter of Ukraine. Back to Saudi Arabia tomorrow, which is where he had the peace summit in 2023. And of course, that free trade agreement with the United Arab Emirates opens the door to many, many more investments from the Arab world.
Wow. Well, there's a lot going on as the U.S. looks to reset some of the tense ties with Russia. This may be an important day. It's certainly an important week in those talks. Andrij, thank you as always.